were just talking about, that age when you first started getting into music. And one of the questions we ask on the show to everybody that sits in that couch is, if a kid came up to you, a 14-year-old kid comes up to you and says, listen, Ian, I've been listening to your music since Big Wreck. I want to get into more stuff. I haven't really bought too many records. Give me 5 albums that I should buy right now to start my musical journey. What 5 albums do you buy?
Physical Graffiti, cool. Miles Davis, Kind of Blue, Keith Jarrett, The Cone Concert, Dire Straits, Communique, and I'd say Revolver over the White Album.
Nice. That was fast. It looks like you answered that question before.
I can keep going.
Yeah. What about something new, something current that's really catching your ears right now? A band that you think people need to hear?
See, that'll take me a while. I'm not really up on the current stuff. I just kind of see through a lot of it, and I'm still mystified by a lot of the stuff that I like some of the, Radiohead's doing great stuff, and Muse doing stuff that's kind of like Radiohead, but they got their own sort of neoclassical twist on it that I think is cool. A lot of the kick-ass stuff now, for me anyway, is coming out of the UK. I don't know why, but I like the Raconteurs record. I think Jack White's, he's got his finger on an interesting pulse.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really hard to...
What did you think about the Radiohead In Rainbows being able to get the whole thing
Well,
online?
I think that's an easy decision to make when you're already like a ghost
Yeah,
millionaire.
that's true. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, people better pay for my record.
Yeah, right.
It's like I don't have a boat.
Yeah.
It's like one of those.
Yeah.
These guys. So I want another boat.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. But
Yeah.
For me, it's like, yeah, dude. I got a fucking mortgage. Buy that thing.
So then, don't download that album.
Yeah.
With Make Believe, talk a little bit about the single then, and what people can expect. Is that reflective of what the whole album sounds like?
Well, it's kind of an amalgamation of everything that's on the record, because it certainly doesn't have a lot of the sort of crunchy, balls to the wall sort of aspect that. Like I said earlier, I like to touch on. I think this record does touch on a lot of different aspects of the stuff that I like to do, and certainly that song does. It's got a little bit of sort of intricate muso, sort of fairy dust, a little bit of that super trampy vibe. It's got a nice big modern rock chorus, and the sort of cadence of the vocal is very, very modern. So I think it's a lot of the, well, not a lot of them, I'd say 3 or 4 of the songs on the record were just geared for radio and just as a way to get the record out there for people to get turned on by it and get into it. And then they once they get it, they can sort of get into the nitty gritty and the depth of the album, because there's a lot of deep cuts on it as well.
So the single comes out next week, and then the album comes out February 10th.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the plans after that?
I don't know. I guess just to tour it, and hopefully just see what the reaction is, and then in the new year just start touring it.
Have you played some of the new stuff
already? Oh, yeah.
How are people digging it?
It depends. Some of these songs have been kicking around for a couple of years, and we'll just sort of throw them into the set occasionally. And over the past couple of years, we've been doing that. And so some of the Uber fans they're really familiar with it, and they're actually like printing up the lyrics, and some of them are wrong, but it's flattering that they'd even have a crack at it. And it's just so they can hear. They'll be able to hear any slight changes or variations in the recorded version, and they've been going over great. It's no complaints with our fans and their relationship with my music.
I think people are really anticipating the album. And one more question I wanted to ask you is, when you play a new song live, do you get a sense of a song? Is a song ready for an album? Does it have to be played live before it goes on an album?
Not necessarily. A lot of people say that, and I think that's one school of thought that that's how a song grows up, is when you sort of acid test it on a crowd, and certainly that's true for some songs, but other ones that I think not necessarily ones that are crafted and studio magic and all that. It's like songs that there's ones that can sort of be born in the studio, and they'll have a freshness and an immediacy to them that you won't have when you've just been beating it up and molding it and changing it. And
song by song basis.
yeah, you never really know. Each song's got its own little story,
That's cool. It's interesting that you're sort of open like that because you went to Berkeley in Boston. And I always think, even when I'm thinking about theater people, I always tend to think when people go to school for this stuff, they're always a little bit more, it's got to be like this.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. Even when I went to school, I certainly wasn't that way.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll go to class today. It's just how I feel. No, it's just that I don't really apply any of that to what I'm doing. I'm sure there are tools that I'm using sort of subconsciously while I'm putting something together.
Well, it's a heavyweight school to go to.
Yeah, yes and no. Cool. Some heavyweights have certainly come out of there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a lot of, at least when I was there was a lot of yo guys as well.
Yeah.
Just like, yo, I want to play guitar. And I was like, no, it goes this way. I'm not kidding.
Cool.
So you never know, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure any school's like that. Like if your dad knows somebody or whatever, so all of a sudden you're in and you're like, wait a sec, man, I've worked hard. But it's like anything else.
Cool. Ian Thornley. Thanks, dude.
All right, buddy. Cheers.
Yeah.